All right, over here I've got the components for the Active Roll Stabilization. There is the sensor, and it has this arm which is supposed to move like this. The arm is connected to this ball joint, which is connected to this link, which is connected to this control arm. So what happens is, as you take a corner, this side would actually lift up because this control arm would lift up, which means this arm here would go upwards like that. It'll tell the car to a level so that it will feel like the car stays horizontal. So what happened here is this broke off, so I'm going to do some plastic welding just to fix that, and unfortunately this link is now damaged, so I'll have to replace the link. Alright, so some of the symptoms is the cornering is terrible. It's like it's quite loose. Also I hear it's almost like a bird. It's sound of a bird humming, like and that's the oscillator motors working, being confused because obviously this thing has been loose and just going anywhere. So this thing was actually hanging here, and this thing was being bumped constantly. So now I'm going to quickly fix this. Okay, to remove this, if you need to remove yours, there you just depress those two clips on the side and you can unplug it, and then there's a nut, and then there's a screw there and one on the top. It's a size 8, and I recommend you use a spanner. It's quite hard to get here, and then what you do is you move this lever, the plastic lever, downwards, and then you can get to the one on the top. Alright, so this is the level sensor, and it's used on cars for self-leveling suspension. Sometimes they even use this for headlights, for the headlight level sensor. But for this vehicle, it is used for the ARS, the Active Roll Stabilization. Now, I don't want to buy a whole new sensor just because of this, so I'm just quickly going to do some plastic welding. All right, so the first step I do is I use rubbing alcohol. That is 90% alcohol. There's no glycol in here. It's just rubbing alcohol, so it's ethanol. And I just make sure that all the surfaces are completely clean, remove any grease, and this will make it much better when I glue it and do the plastic welding. All right, the alcohol dries really quickly. Now I'm just going to use a little bit of super glue just to hold it in place. Thereafter, I'm going to use a soldering iron, and I'm going to do plastic welding to melt the plastic so that it is strong again. I will also use some additional plastic just to build it up a bit. And you can also use these powders with the glue, which are also quite good. It's just that they're brittle. So this is why I prefer the plastic welding. All right, so for now, I'm going to first put some super glue on the surface here, just so that it will hold it in place while I do the repair. And you don't need a lot. It's just a few drops, barely even a drop. And there we go. I'm just going to hold that in place. And that'll just make it easier for when I do the plastic welding. The super glue will definitely not hold this in place long term. It's just to hold it in place while I do the welding. Now I'm going to start the plastic welding on the side here. I make sure that I melt quite deep into the damaged plastic. So here I'm taking the soldering iron. I've set it to about 400 degrees centigrade. So it is hot, and notice I'm really going into the damaged plastic. So I'm going deep inside that crack. Now what I'm doing is I'm just taking some what I call donor plastic just to add to build up that surface, and I'm just putting it on the soldering iron here. And if you'd like to see a full video step by step how to do plastic welding, please check out my video on plastic welding. So I'm just going to speed this up now and just fix this as fast as possible. Right, the plastic welding is done, and I just check that there's nothing in the way when it turns. There, it's perfect. And just a note about this plastic welding. One of the reasons why I use the plastic welding instead of the powder bond is because the powder bond is brittle. So if there's a hard knock, then it just breaks off. Whereas the plastic welding puts it back in the position that it was when it was brand new. In fact, I maintain that it's even stronger with the plastic welding, because before there were these recesses, which I've now completely filled in with additional donor plastic, which is high quality plastic that I use. And there you can see, even inside here, I've filled in the donor, I've filled in the gaps. And how I know the plastic welding has been successful is, if you see, this is white and this is black. But notice that you don't see any white. and that tells me that I got deep enough. I made sure I poked it in quite deeply and really melted the original plastic and mixed it in, melted the new plastic together. Now, if you want to, you could even put some powder bond on the top if you really want to take it to the next level, but I can assure you that this is now ready to go back on the car. Now, I normally just sand it down just so that there's no rough surfaces. Alright, so there is the repair. Now it's been sanded down and I just do some tests and it's perfect. So now I can go and put this on the car. Now the problem is over here. These like ball joints, actually popped out. And even if I insert it back in there, I can see that it's fatigued and it would just pop out again. So I have to get a new one of these and then I will order one and then I will show you the remainder of the repair. And just to show you how strong this plastic welding is, I put the old arm on and I just want to show you that I can even remove this piece and it won't destroy the arm, that plastic welding that I've done. Check how strong, check how it's holding itself. Check at that, check how strong that plastic welding is. I mean, look at that, I actually got that out. And yes, it did put force on this joint here, the plastic welding, but that's just showing you how good the plastic welding is. Alright, so this nipple has to be removed. There's the nut on this side, and then on the control arm there's the other nipple, and that has to be removed. Then it has to be replaced. Now here is the replacement unit, and you can see that it is one piece. The only thing it doesn't come with are these nuts over here. Now I did try this generic one, but when it got delivered I saw that the ball joint over here is open. Now that seems a bit silly because sediment is going to get in there and wear out that ball joint. So I think this particular one would be pretty useless in this application. Maybe this could be used for a level for a front headlight, because this is what this is also used for. So if you are replacing it, you'll have to get the original one because it has the sealed ball joint area over here, and therefore all I need to do is now remove this, reuse the nut, and then just seat it here and then on the control arm. And I just put a little bit of Loctite on it, the blue one, just a little bit, just a drop or so. Right, so there the unit is now replaced. Right, so there's the link, and the Active Roll Stabilization will now work again. And then just remember to fasten the other side to the lower control arm. Alright, thanks for watching and cheers.